Exposing the real in real, where true stories roll and nobody edits the drama. Honest, unfiltered, unforgettable. This is real people just keeping it real. Real stories, real laughs, and just real people. Hit subscribe, because life's better unscripted.
Hi everyone, this is Savania's and Edward's Real People Keeping It Real. This week on Real People Keeping It Real, I'm going to discuss with you phone numbers from the Red Room to scary clowns or numbers from hell. I received and watched these things from a podcast called Slapped Ham. I also tried to call these numbers. I'm not going to tell you what happened on each one, but please let me know what you find out. We'll list these numbers at the end so that you too can either try them or just know that they do exist. For you parents out there, I might want to list a recommendation right now that maybe you don't let your children write these numbers down until you at first check out these numbers. Like I said, I'm not responsible for anything that would happen off of them or anything that doesn't. Okay, I'd like to get a few things off my mind before we do start. Again, I would like to let everyone know, in case you don't know, that Ozzy Osbourne did pass away. We again want to send all our condolences to Sharon and his children and let them know that they are in our thoughts and prayers. The U.S. loved Ozzy, especially Generation X, which my husband and I are both from. I also would just like to say, could you like, share, and push the subscribe button for me today? Doing that helps me spread my content, helps my channel to grow bigger, and helps us to get better. I also want you to know that you can leave any comments that you'd like at in the email at the description box listed below. I ask that you do that. I don't care what your comments are, bad or good. I'm here to hear them all. I also would like your feedback on this content. If you've called any of these numbers, please let us know. Let us know what you've heard or found out or what happened to you when you made these calls. I'm interested. I think my viewers are interested. Let's find out. Let's get started. The first one I want to talk about is called Wrinkles the Clown. Now on this phone number, you are supposed to call it, and when you call this number, the clown does not answer. What he does is have you leave a message. If you're strong enough, tough enough, I don't know, smart enough, willing enough, I should say, to leave a number, not scared, leave your number. They say that sometimes this clown calls you back. It was told in Slapped Ham that he has been known to call you back and leave some very scary messages. Also told that there are things that have happened to people that have called this number. So let me know if you've experienced anything with it. The number is 407-734-0254. And like I said, these will be listed at the end also. And again, that's Scary Wrinkles the Clown. Second one I want to tell you about is called The Disturbing Sounds of a Woman Sobbing. This one has chainsaw noises in it. They say that if you call this number, you will not only hear the noises, but they will bother you in your sleep, and you will start to see things with chainsaws in them all around. People have reported terrible things happening to them after getting callbacks from this number, and they have no idea how they get the number that they call back. I would assume they read caller ID. However, back in the days that these things were happening, people didn't have callback numbers, but they still managed to get it. Let me know if anything happens to you if you call this number. It's 801-820-0263. And again, on this one, it's just sounds of sobbing of this woman and then chainsaw sounds. Let me know what you hear or what you find out, will you? The third one is called, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, it's Japanese, Sadako's Curse. It's a Japanese curse, and it's a deadly curse. When you call this number, death is supposed to happen within days. Now, folks, I did not call this number. I'll admit it. I'm a little leery of curses, maybe a little superstitious. The number is 90-444-4444. You're brave enough to call that one, and you're still alive after a couple of days? Let us know on this podcast, will you? Or if you know anyone, not so jokingly, that's had a bad time with this and perhaps did die after calling this number, please let me know. I'd like to report this. We'd like to know across the nation what really goes on with these numbers and who's putting them out there. The fourth number is chain letter calls. I know that sounds weird, but back in the day, they used to have these things called chain letters. And what they would do is write a letter and it would go to the next person, next person, next person, and so on. You would have to send them. And if you didn't send them, terrible things would happen to you. Well, in this one, you receive ghostly whispers, and it warns you to spread the message that they tell you, whatever that message would be that day. And if you don't, there's fatal consequences. I did check into this one. There were some people that died after calling this number, supposedly. Could or could not be linked to this. I could not find sufficient information to prove that they died because of these calls, but I could not find proof that they didn't either. The number to that one is 1-000-000-0000. Kind of a theme to these numbers. The next one that we're going to discuss today is the Red Room. Of course, The Shining, the movie, had this in there, and he publicized it all over for that movie. It became a very famous part of The Shining. But in this, it's rooted in dark internet legend. It's supposed to put out calls of kidnapping or worse. So if you call this number, you're supposed to have something terrible happen to you along the lines of kidnapping or someone around you being kidnapped. Although, no, let me tell you this, there are no real cases that have ever been verified for this. We checked into people that had called this, and no one has actually been kidnapped that we know of. But would we know if they were kidnapped and never brought back? Would we know? Good question, right? The last one I'd like to discuss to you is, of course, supposedly the scariest. It's called the devil. When you call this number, the devil is supposedly supposed to talk. He talks with a demonic laughter or growl, and supposedly after talking to the devil, he comes to you either in real time or in your sleep. Been known to die after seeing the devil. I don't know, maybe you have a heart attack for all we know, right? The number to that one is 666-666-6666. Go figure. Anyway, I found this story to be very funny and yet still very scary. We're all rooted in a little bit of skepticism, a little bit of fright, and sometimes we just think that we're stronger than what we are. There are people that are definitely afraid of these numbers. As I watched, looked up, and read about these numbers, there were many people on both sides of the fence as to whether or not these numbers can truly be harmful. So I do want to put out there, I don't know who is behind any of these numbers. In fact, no one does. People have tried to find out with endless answers. None. There are none. They want answers to everyone, and guess what? No endless answer. There's none. Even the FBI, I read in one article, had gone as far as to look into several. They would not mention which numbers they indeed were, so be careful. They too were unable to locate, to look up, or to find anybody involved with putting them online. Isn't that strange? So again, parents, these numbers are listed online. Why you would list numbers like this online, I have no idea. On the other hand, for us paranormal freaks, kind of brings out some excitement. Nothing's happened to me so far. Doesn't mean it won't. Doesn't mean that it hasn't happened yet. But if you will, again, if you call these numbers, go down in that email. Let me know what you find out. Or let me know what anyone has found out, even if it's not you. Or if you know someone who's called these numbers. Let's put together something. Let's see what we can find out. And let the rest of the internet know. If you're not brave enough, that's okay. But if you are, keep those reels a-reelin'. After all, Savannah and Edward are just real people, keeping it real. Keep your cameras reelin', and we'll see you next week. Thank you.